At the annual hockey tournament in Windsor, Ontario, the Israeli team is losing to the local Tecumseh Eagles. They've come to Canada to play in an international tournament, but before it began, they got to experience a truly Canadian hockey tradition. The Billet family, for 3 of the players, decided to sneak in a little outdoor ice time between team practices. And there's one thing that Nir Chetrit notices right away.
Really cold.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
Never in my life.
Pam Persa is their billet mom for the week and organized today's game of shinny. She's found that she's learning as much as she's teaching.
And we're just becoming very aware and grateful for what we have in our country.
One of the differences is also what's uniting them: hockey. The game may be the same, but the circumstances are very different.
It's same, I think. But in Israel we got only one ice rink.
After the game, it was back home to warm up and receive gifts from their billet mom. Nir's teammate, Amir Sharabi, says he now wants to move to Canada.
Because all the hockey, everything is hockey. And all of this is something that I very like. I very like hockey.
He especially likes the thought of being able to play outside, steps from home, and not a 3-hour drive away.
This is not fair.
Back at the tournament, the score isn't fair. After taking a 6-0 lead, the scorekeeper stopped tallying the goals, but they kept coming. So the score may not have been close, but what can you expect? This building alone has 4 times the rinks their entire country does. And that's why, regardless of the score, this tournament will go down as the experience of a lifetime. Stephen Bull, CBC News, Windsor. At Allen Park, the action is back, and so are fan expectations. At this final practice before tomorrow's first preseason game, the fans like what they see.
Well, they finally got me excited. I probably gave up on them a few years ago, but I'm back now, so we'll see what happens.
I think they're looking good. This is my second time here. I think they're looking real good.
After a decade of losing seasons, the team seemed closer than ever to regaining a winning form last year. Though only winning 6 games, they were competitive all season. And this year, the players are feeling the pressure.
We're expecting probably more than the fans are. We're excited about what we got, the additions we got. Last year, towards the end of the season, we kind of caught a rhythm. So we want to take that momentum into the regular season.
If we play the way we're supposed to play, I don't think we could lose. We shouldn't lose any game, but that's everybody's hope and goals. But I have a lot of high expectations for this team.
So do the hundreds of fans that showed up for a 9 a.m. practice on a Thursday. So of the 16 regular season games, how many will the Lions win, and how many will they lose?
I'm thinking 9-7, possibly 10-6, depending on how healthy the roster stays. And I honestly believe we have a real good chance at the wild card berth.
I think they might finish with a winning record.
I think we're going to get somewhere this year. 10-6, definitely.
They'll probably be about 9-7 this year and make the playoffs and probably have a pretty good run.
Talk of playoffs is something that hasn't happened around here for years. The last time the Lions were in the postseason was 1999, and the fans are hungry for a return. But some are holding on to the highest of hopes.
Super Bowl.
You want the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl may be a stretch, but after a decade of losing, the Lions just want to keep the focus on the field. And as for me, I'm going 9-7 and making the playoffs, and you can hold me to that. Stephen Bull, CBC News, Allen Park, Michigan. Nick Ebert is eligible for the next NHL entry draft in June and will turn 18 1 month before it. But Hockey Canada president Bob Nicholson says that's too young and is urging the NHL to raise the draft age to 19. That idea caught Ebert by surprise.
I think that the system right now is pretty good. Don't really have any complaints about it, but I guess maybe they've seen over the couple of years that maybe it's too young, but I don't really know for a fact. So.
Also eligible for the draft this year is Anthony Cordalesa. He thinks another year could be a good thing.
I think it would give players an opportunity to further develop and give NHL scouts a better chance to see them when they're fully developed. You'd also be fully comfortable in the league.
But they can only speculate on what it would be like. Their coach knows firsthand. Bob Boughner was drafted by Detroit in 1989, but didn't play his first NHL game until the 95-96 season.
For an average player who ended up making it, I wasn't ready to play in the NHL until I was about 23, 24. After a couple more years of junior and a bit of a time in the minors. So, for the most part, I think most of these kids are not ready that young.
But there are some exceptions, including former Windsor Spitfire Taylor Hall, who are able to make the leap to the NHL at 18. Bugner points out those are the exception, not the standard.
I think there's always going to be an exception clause in any deal you make for the kid, the young black kid that just came out of Windsor is playing for Barrie, the guy like Taylor Hall, a guy like John Tavares, all those kind of names.
Hockey Canada agrees, and Nicholson says he would only want the age change if there was a clear rule for exceptional players like Hall that are ready for the NHL at 18. The NFL may be the ultimate destination for football players, but not all members of the Lions thought they'd end up playing here. In fact, some grew up dreaming of playing in the CFL. Calgary-born wide receiver Nate Burleson grew up wanting to follow in his father's footsteps.
You know, it's an incredible honor just for the simple fact my dad played in the CFL, and because he's my biggest hero, that's what I wanted to do. My goals were to play in the CFL just like my father, and then to have a chance to play in the NFL, it's just a dream come true.
Some players have a more direct connection to the CFL, as former players. But according to cornerback Jonathan Hefney, who played last season with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, there's no comparing the two leagues.
Completely different. I mean, it's a lot more thinking going into it. I'm a lot more physical and a lot more. It's just a lot more hands-on with what you're doing, and I mean everything is on you. You know, is what you do.
They may be different, but there are a lot of similarities, which is why NFL training camps attract CFL scouts, like Rob McIntyre of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Our organization is always looking to improve itself, and this is part of the process. We'll be sending out people to all the NFL training camps as well as all the preseason games to see if anybody who might end up becoming free can help us out.
Number 62, Chima Ikwoba, just graduated from Wilfrid Laurier University. His path to pro football hasn't been to go through the CFL. If he makes the team, he'll be one of only a handful of players in the league to go directly from Canadian university football to the NFL. A gifted athlete, he credits beating the odds to one thing.
Definitely planning. I started about a year ago and I had different